What you're about to see is a brief overview of my 2022 resolutions. I put dry erase marker to whiteboard tonight, created my master plan. So tonight I just basically wanted to walk around, give a total big picture from 1,000 miles up view. Hopefully this is a different style that I feel like I came across a little bit more laid back. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. I'm not the talent by any means. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Hopefully you enjoy this new style of video. And without further ado, here is the overview on the studio for 2022. Thank you. Just getting a quick inventory of everything that's in the building that I'm gonna need to move into the office in order to commence on the flooring, which really is the last big thing to button up, as well as the ceiling. And having an open floor really helps produce the ceiling that I have in mind. So let's just take a quick inventory. So we've obviously got the 8-foot long table that I'll use for a desk in here, I'm thinking. We've also got a bunch of random junk that my father has picked up on Facebook Marketplace. Construction materials, some lighting, possibly a bass guitar. Next, we've got some storage, private, as well as a storage rack. So those two are pretty mobile and easily thrown into the office. Then we've got the drum set and the recording setup. Wasn't planning on having this up here. It's pretty easy to tear down. Humoring a family friend, producing some content, but I believe it's important because I haven't recorded instruments before, but there's also a sake of patience until we have the specific setup that I'll actually be using. Because if I'm gonna learn it once, I wanna learn it right the first time. So then as we look over here, we've got some flooring as well as additional construction materials, as well as some high chairs over here. So we've got a solid 4 of them. The board underneath that needs a power supply. Picked it up from a church, pretty cool situation. Miscellaneous construction materials. Definitely a lot to do. Now, other miscellaneous construction materials. And now that we have the new contractor, he has the tools that he necessarily needs. So all of these individual pieces of crap, let's be honest. We just got a ton of random, almost looks like kindling wood. Facebook Marketplace, come on. So that's Studio C. Construction materials, a couple cabinets, some chairs, some recording equipment that I'll have to ultimately most likely bring up to the house just to alleviate a little bit. Studio B, right in front of us is the previous contractor's tools, which will be a big question. When is he gonna come get his tools? As well as a drill press here that he brought up, which is very significantly heavy, as well as these makeshift shelving for tools. Just basically taking my time here. As you can see as well on here, we've got a bunch of trim boards, as well as mixed cut lumber for I don't know what. Now entering the other side of the room, we're looking at a construction materials shelf, but it's not that packed, as well as another shelving unit that has a lot of things that I could probably bring up to the house. So that'll probably be something that I do just to limit the amount of junk that's up here. Under this blue tarp, as you can see peeking out in the middle, we've got a couple of the countertop slabs that we purchased a long time ago. But as you can see, it's just loaded. And the only real solution that I see coming out of this is a teardown of the bench, or might as well reuse it. I mean, it's kind of, what's the word? It's a cool cabinet that you can't see. Like, you can obviously see some of the detail there. It's an old workshop cabinet that is already here, no construction needed, right? And that's really what I'm interested in right now, is just getting the place open and profitable so we can then reinvest the money that we're making from the studio versus just burning it. Today we were lucky enough to get the second coat of mud for the kitchen partition. Let me turn on the lights. Now, there's not much other than construction supplies, which I don't think will need to be moved. The only thing in here that I could see being cleaned up is possibly the ceiling, but that's probably another challenge for another day. But on the other hand, we are hesitant to put down a floor if the ceiling isn't finished. So that's definitely a thought of mine. As well as doing something to hide the storage area. So, kind of a short loft area, you could say. An access panel over here, just to be able to gain passage in and around the furnace, as well as bathroom B that has construction materials in here. Basically, we drywalled the exterior wall, which was necessary, but not much to do around here, really. And this bathroom's basically done. We do plan on pulling out the sink and possibly placing it in the middle here more as a utility kitchen sink, I believe. Looking back at the center mess here, we've got a transformer that is awfully heavy as well, and certainly a nuisance. It really just looks like we have construction materials, and that needs to be a category of its own, whether or not it's wood, whether or not it's trash. I'm pretty scared to throw anything away, so I'm really just going to be moving, condensing, and organizing it. You're looking at some remnants as well as a black wall that's been scuffed up. That's kind of a shame that it's going to cost additional money just from placing boards on it. But hey, it is what it is. So we've got more miscellaneous construction materials. Now we're done with the drywall. I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to dispose of a lot of it. As I come into the office, it's pretty open, and I'm just looking at more marketplace half broken fans. Not particularly the style that I had in mind for this studio, but hey, fans are fans, lights are lights. Facebook Marketplace, you can get a couple of steals. But as you can see, we've got plenty of room in here to stack, but now that we've got these fans in here, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So that's definitely going to be a concern of mine. So I'm here in the office, and I believe that this is the next big step just to enable this new contractor to do his very best in the most opportune amount of area, because there is opportunity cost that we're wasting by having a junked up studio. So I think that that is definitely one of my New Year's resolutions with Bro Bible and Camelot Productions on their Endless Hustle podcast. The past, I don't know, let's give it 4 or 5 months now, 6 months now. I'm super grateful to Arthur and Joe for bringing me on. And now, I have a couple weeks, hopefully we sell the show. But in the meantime, I want to be able to focus my effort in finishing up the studio, opening it up to different engineers and producers to bring their clients and create a little bit of passive income. So I'm really looking forward to that and finishing up the studio. So if this is something that also interests you and you're a producer, you're an engineer, I'm a video guy. I'm a post-production kind of guy. By no means am I an audio engineer. If you need an audio engineer, go to Chris at Timeless. Absolutely. This is more of a video production studio by all means. But if you are an engineer and you want to take yourself to the next level, and it's not something that needs to be permanent, it can be somewhat of a pop-up, studio set that, it really all is about turning the studio into your own specific fantasy for either an hour, a week, a month, a year, whatever we come to an understanding on. I'm here. And if you didn't already know, I'm Anthony Marshall. And as always, we'll see you.